Hi everyone, welcome and welcome back to this space. I'm really glad to have you here. I really hope and pray that this place actually helps you gain clarity and helps with mind engineering wherever that you need to actually have this, and also with regards to purpose, help with shining the light and also guiding you through. So without wasting too much time, let's just get on with today's session. I want to talk to you about the mind fight. Now, what is this term, the mind fight? I basically coined this when I took time to meditate and study on this particular subject of the mind and how it relates to different things. I heard of this particular story one time where two people went to a hospital and one person had cancer, the other person didn't, but somewhere along the line with getting their results, they were exchanged, and the one with cancer got the report that it didn't have, and the one without got the report that they had. And it was quite funny, because not really funny but quite ironic, how even though the report had said that the person with cancer had a few months to live, they actually lived longer than that. And the person that didn't have the disease died not so long after. This actually, with a few other things that have been said and have been noticed, research has been done, really shows that the mind actually has so much power over how we perceive things and how the outcome even of some things, how we're able to change things in our environments and in our lives. So because of this, we're just going to talk about the mind fight. Now, what is the mind fight? The mind fight is basically an ongoing tussle that occurs in our minds in order to attain a balanced state of health and also to empower the other aspects of our lives. Now, it is at this point that I talk about the wellness wheel. And what the wellness wheel is basically this: it's a cyclic wheel that shows the mind at the center, and it has the different aspects of our living, which is the physical, emotional, intellectual, financial, social, environmental, and spiritual. Now, if you notice, there are arrows right here that lead to and from the mind for each aspect. There are arrows that lead to and from the mind. What this signifies is that the mind being at the center is not omnipotent. There are things from different aspects that can actually influence the mind. Same also, the mind can also influence how some of these things actually turn out, right? And how does the mind relate with this other aspects of our lives? It relates through perception, initiation, process, and outcomes. Now I'm going to explain what this means. So when it comes to perception, now I'm just going to say it again. Mind actually relates with other aspects in terms of perception, initiation, the process, and the outcome. The perception is the way the mind perceives the other aspects of our lives and whatever issue that it may be facing, and its power, its ability to overcome that issue. That's perception. Initiation is then the attempt to move forward to actually overcoming this particular issue. Process is the methodology, the ways that the mind works, and I'm using mind now, not the person, the way the mind works to actually overcome this. And the outcome is, like it says, what the result is and how quick the person is to bounce back to that level of balance, to that balanced state. So, and I'm going to give an example. If a person gets a notification, a financial bill, right, that they have to pay, but they don't have the money for it, say it's a rent, and they've been given a notice to move out of their space in a couple of months, but they don't have the money for it, that can actually affect the mind, because the mind takes that information, which has to do with the financial part, the financial aspect of their lives. The mind takes that information and perceives what is going on here. Okay, financial health is not up to par, right? And that is the state of the financial aspect of life. Now, what is the issue? Oh, I don't have money to pay my rent and I will be kicked out of this place, and then I will have no place to stay. So the person takes that, the person then decides, the mind in this case then decides, do I have the ability to overcome this? Do I have the ability to, you know, find a way around this, or am I going to feel defeated in this? That's the perception. Now, whatever the person chooses, if the person feels that they don't have the ability, or they feel like this is going to drown them, then it stops at that. And then they keep living in that space of survival. They keep living in that space of not getting things done. But if the person believes mentally in their minds that they can't get this done, that there's a way around this, they move on to initiation. Now, initiation is the attempt for them of the mind to actually get things done. So the attempt to get things done is initiation, while the process is the methodology to actually overcoming the ways that the person takes whatever comes through, because in this time the light will actually dawn. So the whatever step that the person takes to get things done, that is the process. The outcome is the result from this particular incident, the outcome, and how quick the person is to bounce back to the state that they were before. Or if they continue in the ruts, do they feel and stay in that funk state? Though it be financial, it can actually have an effect on the mental state of the person. And because it has an effect on the mental state of the person, it could even have further effect by extension on the social health of the person. The person may feel like they don't want to mingle, network, or not just that, but even the existing relationships that they have already. The person could have strained relationships. This is where I also talk about wellness as a journey and health as a state. Most times when we hear wellness and health, we tend to think of it as related to just medicine. Medical health can be financial health, it can be physical health, spiritual health, social health, whatever the case may be, environmental health, even. You know, the World Health Organization actually describes health as a complete state of physical, social, mental, and spiritual well being, and not merely the absence of illness, disease. Now, the key word here that I want us to focus on is complete state. Now, the World Health Organization describes health as a complete state, while wellness is actually defined as a process. It's a process to getting to health. So, most times we think that you have to be at a certain level before you feel like you are productive, before you feel like you are doing things, or whatever the case may be. Not one person is 100% healthy. Now, this is not even just for physical health, this is for the different aspects of health and living. Now, for wellness, because it is a journey. There's something that I like to say: wellness is a journey, health is the destination. To get to the destination, it is very important for us to make sure that the journey actually counts. Do we really get to that complete state of health? That's a question I want us to think about. That's a food for thought. Do we really get to that complete state of health? I would rather focus on the wellness and the journey, because that's really what counts. Truth is, in a bid to get to that state, that illusion, the complete state of health is basically an illusion. But in a bid to get to that state, we get into this rat race and just trying to get things done, just trying to push, and because we don't get it, we find ourselves looking for some form of escapism. So it's either we are on social media these days, or whatever the case may be. And the different things that we see on social media could either rage bait us and put us in that space of negative emotions that could affect our mental health, or we could see a sad story, right, on social media that forms a thought in our minds and we react to it. Or we could also see something that should inspire us. Some people tend towards comparison in this space, or they take it as a form of inspiration for themselves. Now, this is how the mind actually relates with other aspects of our lives with regards to perception. Most times when we feel overwhelmed is because our thoughts partner with the things on the outside, the externalities that I like to call them. When our thoughts partner with the externalities, that is when we feel overwhelmed. And it is so subtle that you may not realize that this is happening, because on a daily basis we have million thoughts that run through our minds. And if we do nothing about it, it just continues. You might not even really realize the particular one that got you down. You might not really realize the particular one that got you down, but it is so subtle. It seeps into the mind, and it can actually leave us feeling handicapped, where we don't feel like we have the energy to do anything, and we just continue in that space. It's almost like we are on autopilot, where nothing is actually getting done. Which takes us to productivity. Most times when we think productivity, we are thinking just in terms of work. But the truth is, productivity is also known as fruitfulness. And this also is called success or prosperity or peace. Now, success to different people means different things. Success could either mean a thriving relationship, it could mean money in your account, it could mean health, whatever the case may be. And it also takes us to prosperity. Now, when you think prosperity, some people think wealth, some people think money, but prosperity also means peace. And peace is not just a mental thing, it is a state of calm within that also translates to your outward environment. Now, with this in mind, we cannot necessarily call productivity just success or thriving at work or the things that you do with your hands. Productivity is entire, because it is being fruitful across board. So being productive really is being in a state of peace and calm within. Many of us underestimate the power of our minds, and we could have questions like, we really, is the mind all that? The way we exalt the mind, like it could fix everything. I mean, if I get a bill, or if I get a medical report, or whatever the case may be, I'm not going to ask my mind solve this, because sometimes it actually feels like the answer is external. It feels like, oh no, what I just need is money. I don't need any of all this mind talk. It feels like, oh, okay, this has gone on long enough. I just need something. I just need this relationship. I just need a place to live. Not necessarily my mind. While that may be true in part, the thing is that when we take these externalities and we don't check the thoughts in our minds, first of all, it partners with the things that we face on the outside. And without even realizing it, we start to accommodate the idea that this is all that there ever is going to be for me. And if we don't do anything, even in this space, it continues, and then it becomes a whole thought process that then affects the actions that we are willing to take. And because of these actions, it also results in what we see. So while the mind may not necessarily give you money there, but you could stay in a particular place and just feel like this is not going to be the end of me. This is not going to be the situation. I'm not going to be homeless. I'm going to get on in the fight. And that's why it's called the mind fight. I'm not going to let this end here, whatever the case may be. Now, the thing is that man is a tripartite being. Man has the body, which we see it, we have the spirit, and we have the soul. The soulical level is the part that has to do with our intellect, our mind, our willpower. In this space of the soul, where the mind is, there is communication regularly from the body, which interacts with our environment, and the spirit. So if we focus more on the environment and not allowing ourselves connect to the divine, we take what is going on in our environment and internalize it so much so that we are not able to move past it. And that is where mind optimization comes in. That's what I like to call it. Mind optimization is re-engineering the mind so that you remain in the fight long enough till you see the outcomes that you have been hoping to see, till you see the results that you've been hoping to see. You see, the thing is that when we accept the things that we see on the outside as the status quo, it affects our identity. That's the major thing. It affects our identity, and in affecting who we are, our perception of who we are, what we can do, the power that we can actually exhibit. We lose sight. We lose sight of the ability to get things done. We lose sight of what is being communicated to us. It's like a state of blindness where we can't see enough to go forward. And I know this because while I have also dealt with people that have been in this space, I have experienced it personally. I have experienced a period where it felt like I was reacting a lot to the things on the outside. Some of these things were not even directly connected to me. It could easily have just been something that I saw on social media, something that I heard about a person, and I took it and internalized it so much. This is me being more, connecting more with my body and the environment than what my spirit was saying with the divine. And that is what we should understand. There are different aspects of the wellness wheel, but how we optimize our minds enough to be re-engineered per time would determine how this other aspects of our lives thrive and how we are productive. I wrote something on the blog a while back where I called the rat resilient. Even I, in the time, was thinking, why would the rat be resilient? Because I look at them as, oh, are they not these dirty creatures that we see in sewages, in the sewers? So what's resilient about them? But the thing is, the resilience of the rat is that they are able to thrive. They are able to multiply and grow regardless of the state that they may be in, regardless of the environment. I don't think there's a particular country that doesn't have a rat. You could correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's a particular country that doesn't have a rat. You would find a rat everywhere. You will find a rat everywhere. And that's the resilience, that's the ability to thrive. The rat is always in the fight. Now, there are channels and gates to our minds, and these channels are basically our sense organs: the eyes, the mouth, the ears, what we feel. When we see something or hear something, good or bad, our minds paint pictures with this.